All right. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gura Bhakta Vrinda ज्ञानतिमिन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा तदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahaganam Shri Shadnandipnischa He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagapati Gopesha Gopita Kanta Radha Kanta Namastiti Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Siti Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 विष्णुपदाय कृष्णविष्णु पद प्रिय श्री गिरिराजाय स्वामी शिवभक्तरास बिहारी Ishtapadaya Krishna Visarvadineshwari Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Shikari Mukham Karoti Vachalam Panghum Langai Tigrim Yakripatamaham Shri Gurudev. Hare Krishna. So, welcome back. So, we are reading from Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 7. We are on text 33. This is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's explanation of the Vedanta Sutra. So we are on text 133. Emata prati sutre sahajartha charya gaunartha vyakhya kare kalpana karya. To prove the philosophy, the members of the Mayavad school have given up the real, easily understood meaning of the Vedic literature and introduced indirect meanings based on their imaginative powers. Kare kalpana, according to imagination. Unfortunate purport. Unfortunately, the Shankarite interpretation has covered almost the entire world. Therefore, there is a great need to present the original, easily understood natural import of the Vedic literature. We have therefore begun by presenting Bhagavad Gita as it is, and we propose to present all the Vedic literature in terms of the direct meaning of its words. So, why so much discussion? As keep on mentioning this, that we are going through so much philosophy, we are not going straight into the lila of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We are going through a lot of philosophy, because Krishnadas Kaviraj, he said we must hear it so that our intelligence becomes fixed, and with great logic and proof. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is establishing the identity of the Panch Tattva, then now the philosophy that they propound, because it's not just that the Panch Tattva came, for, time pass, they felt like having a holiday, so they came in the material world. No, they came to establish a system so that we can go back home, back to Godhead. Now, so many of other philosophies have come. So many philosophies have come, and they are giving, say, the conditioned soul is ready to buy some gadgets, right? Some idea, right? All of us. Somebody comes to you and presents you something, and you may or may not want it, but because the mind is always thinking that, I'm bored or I'm unhappy, what's the meaning of life, etc., etc. So when ideas come to you or items come to you, you want to buy it. So here Prabhupada is saying that the Shankarite interpretation has covered almost the entire world, meaning impersonalism. And therefore, the end result of the philosophy is that we merge in Brahman and we don't get to know about Krishna. Our Krishna, we don't develop a relationship with Krishna. We can't know him. So therefore, it's the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, specifically Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that he is telling us there is something beyond the Mayavad philosophy. Text 134. And again, we have a benediction from Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. He said that Mahaprabhu has spoken in such a way, and his lila is performed in such a way that even a child can understand. Right? So meaning that by reading again and again and again, all these texts and explanation. So why we are repeating again and again? Because this is the way to learn. Repetition is an essential part of learning. Just like everybody knows when they went to school, they will recite the tables, right? 7 times 2, 7 times 3, 7 times 4, etc. We recite the table again and again and again. We'll repeat. So this is the method by which we learn. Our mind memory is programmed in such a way that by repetition, we learn and we understand. And the benediction has been given that even a child, Bala, and now we are Balika here, right? So even as Balika, by going again and again over Prabhupada's purport, something is getting into our consciousness, into our intelligence. Text 134. Emate pratishutre karena dushan shuni chamatkara haila sanyashiragana. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thus showed for each and every sutra the defects in Shankaracharya's explanations, all the assembled Mayavadi sannyasis were struck with wonder. Sakala sannyasi kahe shunaha Shripad, tumhi ekhan dile artha enahe vivad. All the Mayavadi sannyasis said, Your Holiness, Shripad, Your Holiness, kindly know from us that we actually have no quarrel with your refutation of these meanings, for you have given a clear understanding of the sutras. Vivad, meaning we are not going to, you have defeated, you have refuted our stand, our philosophy, and therefore, nahe vivad, we are not going to quarrel more over this. Text 136. Acharya kalpitartha iha sabhe jani sampradaya anurodhe tabu tahe mani We know that all this word jugglery springs from the imagination of Shankaracharya, and yet, because we belong to his sect, we accept it, although it doesn't satisfy us. Actually, this is how people they know, like I met this one person. He was like the head of the Catholic Church, but he wanted to discuss with me. And what he wanted to discuss, he wanted to know about the soul. And then he told me that in the Bible, there is not clear understanding or mention of the soul. And he wanted me, he wanted to discuss with me, wanted to learn something, right? But he was the head. What? Yeah. He was the head of the Catholic Church in Mauritius. And so why? So he knew that his philosophy, the line that he's following, is not complete. But because he happened to belong to this sect, he had to go on and teach his people whatever he knows. All right, so here clearly, and it's recorded in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we know that all this word jugglery springs from the imagination of Shankaracharya. And yet, because we belong to his sect, we accept it, although it doesn't satisfy us. But now that they're having the association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are getting a different idea, and it looks like they're ready to accept it. Actually, they accept it. They say, yeah, yes, we have no quarrel with your reputation. Therefore, you have given a clear understanding of the sutras. Text 1-7. Mukhyartha vyakhya kara dekhi tumhara bal. Mukhyarthe lagala prabhu sutra sakal. Now let us see the Mayavadi sannyasi continue. How well you can describe the sutras in terms of their direct meaning. Hearing this, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began his direct explanation of the Vedanta Sutra. So another section is starting. So this is very erudite, right? What we are reading now, these are discussion between two scholars and very scientific and very step by step. Philosophy is not just words thrown in a haphazard way. It goes in a very logical sequence. Text 133. Brihadvastu Brahma Kahi Shri Bhagavan Shad Vidashvarya Purna Paratatvadham. Brahman, who is greater than the greatest, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is full in 6 opulences, and therefore he is the reservoir of ultimate truth and absolute knowledge. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that the absolute truth is understood in 3 phases of realization: the impersonal Brahman, the localized Paramatma, and ultimately the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The impersonal Brahman and localized Paramatma are expansions of the potency of the Supreme Person Godhead, who is complete in 6 opulences, namely wealth, fame, strength, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. Since he possesses his 6 opulences, the personality of Godhead is the ultimate truth in absolute knowledge. Text 139. Swarup Aishwarya Tandra Nahi Maya Gandha Sakala Vedera Hai Bhagavan Se Sambandh. In his original form, the Supreme Person Godhead is full with transcendental opulences, which are free from the contamination of the material world. It is to be understood that in all Vedic literature, the Supreme Person Godhead is the ultimate goal. So the Mayavadi was saying that no, The ultimate goal is Brahman, and the Jeev is equal to the Supreme Brahman. They speak of only one Brahman. So here, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that there are three aspects of the absolute truth. Param Satyam, three aspects. Tanre nirvishesha kahi chit shakti namani, ardha swarupa namani le punata bhaihani. When we speak of the Supreme as impersonal, we deny his spiritual potencies. Logically, if you accept half of the truth, you cannot understand the whole. So what is the whole truth? Who will tell me what is the whole truth? And what is the half truth?
So, Mataji, the Brahman, the Supreme Brahman, is a partial understanding of the absolute truth. And Bhagwan, Sri Krishna, he is the absolute, the complete understanding.
Yes, meaning it is Shri Krishna and what?
His energies,
Yes,
jiva,
full marks. Okay, this is how we proceed. All right, that's the defect in the impersonalist philosophy. They accept only one, whereas we are accepting three aspects of the absolute truth, and that last aspect, which is Shri Supreme Person Godhead, it means also his energies, his Shaktis. Radha Krishna. We are not accepting only Krishna, we are accepting Radharani. All right? Radha Krishna. Then we have the Jiva Shakti. Then we have the Kala Shakti. Then we have the lila Shakti. So potencies. All right. So who wants to read?
I'll read, Mataji.
Hmm?
Translation, purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. In the Upanishads, it is said, Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. This verse, which is mentioned in Isha Upanishad, Brihad Aranakya Upanishad, and many other Upanishads, indicate that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is full in six opulences. His position is unique, for he possesses all riches, strength, influence, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. Brahman means the greatest, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead is greater than the greatest, just as the sun globe is greater than the sunshine, which is all pervading in the universe. Although the sunshine that spreads all over the universes appears very great to the less knowledgeable, greater than the sunshine is the sun itself, and greater than the sun is the sun god. Similarly, impersonal Brahman is not the greatest, although it appears to be so. Impersonal Brahman is only the bodily effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the transcendental form of the Lord is greater than both the impersonal Brahman and localized Paramatma. Therefore, whenever the word Brahman is used in the Vedic literature, it is understood to refer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yes. So, meaning that example is given. Sunshine appears to be the greatest because spread everywhere. But everybody knows that the sun is greater than the sunshine because it is concentrated heat, right? The sun is concentrated heat, and this heat is spread everywhere, just like if you light a fire, right? So the fire will light up your room. If the room is dark, you light a fire, that fire will light up the room, like let's say a candle. It will light up the room, but are you going to touch the flame? Touch the flame? No, why?
It will burn the energy.
Yes, yeah, meaning that the light that is coming from the candle is none different from that flame. But you can see it's different. You're ready to be in the light of the flame, but you're not ready to touch the flame. So therefore the flame is greater than the light. Are you able to understand this?
Wow, lovely example, Mataji.
Yes, so this is what Prabhupada is saying, that although the sunshine that spreads all over universes appears very great to the less knowledgeable, greater than the sunshine is the sun itself, and greater than the sun is the sun god. All right? So meaning that the sun, so the sun is the flame, but the person who is the personification of this flame is Agni Dev, right? Agni Dev. So Agni Dev, this is his potency. It comes in the shape of that flame, or the sun god comes in the shape of the sun. That's his body. His abode is the sun. So the sun god lives in the planet sun. So how is it possible for him to live in the planet sun? Because his body is greater than the planet sun itself. Otherwise, he will get burnt, right? If we go to the sun planet, we will get burned. But the sun god has a body that is greater than the sun globe itself. This is what Prabhupada is explaining here. And greater than the sun is the sun god. You are clear? Is it clear? All right. See, I've never seen this before. Whatever we are reading right now, I've never seen it before. We have been giving the story of, the sunlight, sun god, but the way Prabhupada is explaining here, it's amazing, right? It's truly amazing. This analogy of sun, sunshine, and sun god, the way Prabhupada is explaining is amazing. So this is for us to understand that this body, the Swarup of Shri Krishna, is greater than Brahman and even the Paramatma. Impersonal Brahman is only the bodily effulgence, the Supreme Person Godhead, but the transcendental form of the Lord is greater than both the impersonal Brahman and localized Paramatma. Just like I had said, that you have the flame that's spreading its light everywhere and its energy everywhere, then it becomes localized in one point as Paramatma. Therefore, whenever, and then everybody knows that it is not the candle that has light, right? It's an energy that you have harnessed from the universe, isn't it? Can you imagine? What's the thing? Is it a magic? You take a box, you take a stick, you strike it, and you bring out a flame. Where is the fire? The fire has to exist in the universe, right? Isn't it? Every day we're doing the same thing. For me, when we have that gadget, that we strike and we light the stove, for me, when I first saw it, I thought this is magical. It's completely magical. From where, the fire is coming, and you strike it against your gas, the gas bursts into flame. It's magical, right? So what it actually means, that the fire exists in the universe, and there is a deva who's manipulating it, and therefore the flame bursts out. So Prabhupada here is explaining about this point. Impersonal Brahman is only the bodily effulgence of the Supreme Person Godhead, but the transcendental body is greater than both the impersonal Brahman and localized Paramatma. Therefore, whenever the word Brahman is used in the Vedic literature, it is understood to refer to the Supreme Person Godhead, meaning Brahman is only the one outcome, or the most visible outcome to those who are coming out from the material world. So their first contact with spirit is the Brahman. Yeah, continue.
In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is also addressed as Parabrahman. Mayavadis and others sometimes misunderstand Brahman because every living entity is also Brahman. Therefore, Krishna is referred to as Parabrahman, the Supreme Brahman. In the Vedic literature, whenever the words Brahman or Parabrahman are used, they are to be understood to refer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. This is their real meaning. Since the entire Vedic literature deals with the subject of Brahman, Krishna is therefore the ultimate goal of Vedic understanding. The impersonal Brahma Jyotis rest on the personal form of the Lord. Therefore, although the impersonal effulgence, the Brahma Jyoti is the first realization, one must enter into it, as mentioned in the Isha Upanishad, to find the Supreme Person, and then one's knowledge is perfect. The Bhagavad Gita 7.19 also confirms this. Bahunam janunam ante jnanman mam prapadyate. One's search for the absolute truth by dint of speculative knowledge is complete when one comes to the point of understanding Krishna and surrenders unto him. That is the real point of perfectional knowledge. Partial
Yes, yeah. No, every paragraph is so much. So let's look at this one now. So now, there's Param Brahma, whereas the Mayavadi, what they're saying, Anupama?
Yes, they are saying everything is Brahman, everyone is Brahman.
Yeah. So they're saying everyone, only one they are saying. So whenever the words Brahman or Paramatma, Parabrahma are used, they are to be understood to refer to the Supreme Person Godhead Krishna. This is the real meaning. Since the entire Vedic literature deals with the subject of Brahman, Krishna is therefore the ultimate goal of Vedic understanding. So why is it that Prabhupada or the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and in this line where always they're pointing that who we are studying in the Vedic literature, it is Krishna. Because many people, they read, many scholars like this, the Mayavadis, they read the Vedic literatures, but they don't find Krishna. They're studying the Vedas, but they don't find Krishna. So this is a huge problem. Then the entire Vedic literature deals with the subject of Brahman. Krishna is therefore the ultimate goal of Vedic understanding. The impersonal Brahma Jyoti rests on the personal form of the Lord. Therefore, although the impersonal effulgence, the Brahma Jyoti, is the first realization, one must enter into it, from Upanishad, to find the Supreme Person, and then one's knowledge is perfect. So here we are, we see the sunshine, but from where, like a child, a newly born child, he doesn't know that the light is coming from the sun. You have to tell him from where the light is coming from, the sun. Like the moon, it's even less understood because the moon keeps on waning and waxing and then the dark night, right? So did we ever notice that in the night sometimes it's light? So from where is the light coming, right? So we have to learn that it's coming from the moon. So we are so much in ignorance, so much in darkness that we have to be told everything. So similarly, to know about Krishna, we have to be told there is a Brahman, so this is the light, and then there is the moon or the sun. So it's an object, it's a fiery body. The sun is a fiery body, whereas the moon is cool. It's a cool body. It's amazing. It's both light, it's both fire, but one is cold fire, one is hot fire. Right? I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's like our fridge, right? The fridge is using electricity, Prabhupada explained. Right? Same energy. One is cooling and one is heating. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So all Prabhupada's example is coming to our memory. So in order to actually understand where this energy is coming from, we have to enter into it. And then we can find the Supreme Person. So, okay, the fridge and the heater, both of them are plugged in the same, one socket for heat, one socket for, for cold. How come in one strip, right, you have plug one heat, one cold? Then you have to say, oh, it's connected to a power supply in the house. And then, but from where? If the general electricity, goes off, there's no fire in your house, right? Neither heat nor cold. So you find a powerhouse. So these are examples that Prabhupada has given us. So we have to enter into it. Shishopanishad said we have to enter into this Brahman in order to find the Supreme Person. Yeah, so it's very rare, very, very rare that somebody can understand this. Very, very rare. Yeah, so we searching and searching. Right. Okay, so continue.
Partial realization of the absolute truth as impersonal Brahman denies the complete opulence of the Lord. This is hazardous understanding of the absolute truth. Unless one accepts all the features of the absolute truth, namely impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and ultimately the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one's knowledge is incomplete. Sripad Ramanujacharya in his Vedanta Sangraha says, Jnanena dharmena swarupam api nirupitam na tu jnanamatram brahmeti katham idam avagyamyate. He thus indicates that the real identity of the absolute truth must be understood in terms of both his knowledge and his characteristics. Simply to understand the absolute truth to be full of knowledge is not sufficient. In the Vedic literature, Mundaka Upanishad 1.1.9, we find the statement, Yes Sarvagya Sarvavid, which means that the absolute truth knows everything perfectly. But we also learn from the Vedic description, Parasya Shaktir Vividha Shruyate, that not only does he know everything, but he also acts accordingly by utilizing his different energies. Thus, to understand that Brahman the Supreme is conscious is not sufficient. One must know how he consciously acts through his different energies. Mayavad philosophy simply informs us of the consciousness of the absolute truth, but does not give us information of how he acts with his consciousness. That is the defect of that philosophy. Hare Krishna.
All right. So here Sripad Shankaracharya, so he has said that the real identity of the absolute truth must be understood of both his knowledge and his characteristics. Simply to understand the absolute truth to be full of knowledge is not sufficient. In the Vedic literature, we find a statement that the absolute truth knows everything perfectly, but we also learn from the Vedic description that not only does he know everything, but he also acts accordingly by utilizing his different energies. So the crucial difference between Mayavad philosophy And Vaishnava philosophy is that Krishna acts. He's not just consciousness, but that he acts. This is such a relief because all of us living beings, we are very active. Otherwise, the philosophy of Mayavadi is saying that liberation means you become absolutely and completely inactive. So how is it that Krishna is able to act? Because he utilizes his different energies. Just to understand that Brahman, the Supreme is conscious, is not sufficient. One must know how he consciously acts. Right? One must know how he consciously acts through his different energies. Mayavad philosophy simply informs us of the consciousness of the absolute truth, Sat, but does not give us information of how he acts with his consciousness. So this is the defect in that philosophy. So how do we explain, here we see Ramachandra, full of action, right? Full of action. So we say, no, we come at some point where everything so he must be an ordinary human being if he's full of activities here, and then he has his only consciousness at the end of it all. It means that he's an ordinary being in the material world. So this is a great science, a great science that we are going to learn in this Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, how the Supreme Lord acts through his energies. This is our study. All right, who would like to tell me what we just read?
Mataji, most important point that Krishna is full of acts. He is not just consciousness.
Yes.
He's a person.
He's a person, he has activities, he really does things. Right. Text 141. भगवान प्राप्ति हेतु ये करी उपाय श्रवणादि भक्ति कृष्ण प्राप्ति सहाय. It is only by devotional service, beginning with hearing, that one can approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the only means to approach him. All right, who wants to read? To read.
I can read, Mataji, if you
Okay.
permit. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Mayavadi philosophers are satisfied simply to understand Brahman to be the sum total of knowledge. But Vaishnava philosophers not only know in detail about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but also know how to approach Him directly. The method for this is described by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as 9 kinds of devotional service, beginning with hearing, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Padasevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dasyam, Sakyam Atmanivedanam, Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 5th chapter, 23rd verse. The 9 kinds of devotional service are hearing about Krishna, chanting about him, remembering him, offering service to his lotus feet, offering him worship in the temple, offering prayers to him, working as his servant, making friendship with him and unreservedly surrendering to him. One can directly approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead simply by executing these 9 kinds of devotional service, of which hearing about the Lord is the most important, Shravanadi. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has very favorably stressed the importance of this process of hearing. To his method, if people are simply given a chance to hear about Krishna, certainly they will gradually develop their dormant awareness and love of Godhead. Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Karoye Udoy. Love of God is dormant in everyone, and if one is given a chance to hear about the Lord, certainly that love develops. Our Krishna consciousness movement acts on this principle. We simply give people the chance to hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead and give them prasadam to eat. And the actual result is that all over the world, people are responding to this process and becoming pure devotees of Lord Krishna. We have opened hundreds of centers all over the world just to give people in general a chance to hear about Krishna and accept Krishna's prasadam. These two processes can be accepted by anyone, even a child. It doesn't matter whether one is poor or rich, learned or foolish, black or white, old or still a child. Anyone who simply hears about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, takes prasadam, is certainly elevated to the transcendental position of devotional service.
Right. So now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, now this is the statement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's saying it is only by devotional service, beginning with hearing, that one can approach the Supreme Person with Godhead. That is the only means to approach him. Meaning that how will you know at the end of it all, how will you know that behind the impersonal, the Brahman and the Paramatma, everybody speak of Paramatma in India. How do you know that behind both of them is Krishna? What's the answer?
By hearing about
Yeah.
Krishna.
But he has to tell you. So now who is that somebody who will tell you? From where will you find that somebody who will tell you?
Krishna himself through Shastras. Srila Prabhupada.
Guru Mataji.
Guru. Yeah, so Prabhupada is saying that's why he's opened the Society of Krishna Consciousness, so that, he can just go about and tell people Krishna is the Supreme Person Godhead. Behind Brahman is Krishna. So he gives out prasadam and he gives the literature or satsanga. Distributing the literature or organizing the satsanga is one and the same, meaning that you want people to hear about Krishna. You follow what's going on here? When we are saying distribute books, find sponsorship for books, or organize satsanga, or you yourself, host satsanga in your own house. What is it all for? Anupama Mishra, what is it all for?
It is to know Krishna.
Krishna?
And develop the love for him.
Before knowing Krishna, to know Krishna. Before knowing Krishna. What is it?
To, he-
Yes. To what?
to hear.
To hear. You hear of him. Parichay. Right? Krishna has to get introduced to you. Right? So you have to hear about him. And then by sitting in the satsanga, hearing carefully and asking questions, then we get to know Krishna. All right? There is only one way. I remember very clearly, after I read Prabhupada's book, one day I was so shocked and I said that, but there was no way I could know all this unless and until Prabhupada told us. By no stretch of imagination, by no, intellectual or mental gymnasium, was it possible for me to know Jivera Swarup Bhai Krishna Nityadas? There was just no way. Who we are, who's Krishna? There was just no way. Because if you put together all people, all right, they all look the same. Krishna, Shiva, Ganesh, everybody looks same. And you put you also among them. Right? So one philosophy said we are all same. Right? So if we are to know who is the actual personality behind everybody and everything else, you have to hear about it. So this is what the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying. That is the only means to approach him. Krishna Praptira Sahaya. Shravanadi Bhakti, meaning beginning with Shravanam. Adi means and so on. Shravan. 142. Se sarva vedira abhidhainam sadhana bhakti hai te hai premira udgama. Okay, who wants to read?
Mataji,
Yes, they will help me.
text 142. সেই সর্ব বেদের অভিদয়ে নাম সাধনা ভক্তি হইতে হয় প্রেমের উদ্গম. By practicing this regulated devotional service under the direction of the spiritual master, certainly one awakens his dormant love of Godhead. This process is called abhidaya. By the practice of devotional service, beginning with hearing and chanting, the impure heart of a conditioned soul is purified, and thus he can understand his eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That eternal relationship is described by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jiver Sarupa Hoy Krishna Nitya Das. The living entity is an eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When one is convinced about this relationship, which is called Sambandha, then he acts accordingly. That is called Abhidaya. The next step is Prayojana Siddhi, or fulfillment of the ultimate goal of one's life. If one can understand his relationship with Supreme Personality of Godhead and act accordingly, automatically his mission in life is fulfilled. The Mayavadi philosophers miss even the first stage in self-realization because they have no conception of God being personal. He is the master of all, and he is the only person who can accept the service of all living entities. But since this knowledge is lacking in Mayavad philosophy, Mayavadis do not have knowledge even of their relationship with God. They wrongly think that everyone is God or everyone is equal to God. Therefore, since the real position of the living entity is not clear to them, how can they advance further? Although they are very much puffed up at being liberated, Mayavadi philosophers very shortly fall down again to the material activities due to their neglecting the lotus feet of the Lord. That is called Patani Adha. Ye ne Rabindakshya Vimukta Maninas Tvaya Asta Bhavad Avishuddha Buddhaya Aruya Krichrena Param Padam Tataha Patanti Adho Nadrita Yushmat Angrirahaya. Bhagavatam 10.2.32. Here it is said that persons who think themselves liberated but do not execute devotional service, not knowing their relationship with the Lord, are certainly misled. One must know his relationship with the Lord and act accordingly. Then the fulfillment of his life's mission will be possible.
Right. So we already spoke on this. Jivera Sarupaya Krishnera Nityada. So meaning our relationship has to be established first, and we need to be told about it. Just like a mother turns to the father and say, here's your father, right? If the mother doesn't tell the child, this is your father, he may think this is the uncle, right? Is it true? Those who are mothers, you have to say papa, papa, right? And the child replies papa, papa, right? Then say cha-cha, right? Dada, right? You have to tell the poor child. How will he know? Who is this one? Anybody who will walk in can be papa for him. Right? So, hearing. Right? So, described as mother. The mother who gives the knowledge of the relationship with the Supreme Lord. So it's described, the Vedas describe as father and mother. Yeah, so we have to hear this poor Jeev doesn't even know his identity. How you feel about this? You don't even know your identity. We are doing so many things. We are fighting for our rights. We are fighting for this, that, and we don't even know what's our identity. So here the identity is established. Jivera Sarubhai Krishnera Nitya Das. The living entity is an eternal servitor of the Supreme Personal Godhead. And then now, okay, I know my sambandh. Now I know. Now that I know of my sambandh, what do I do within that sambandh? Like a girl gets married, she has to learn what to do with the husband. Right? She has to learn what to do with the husband. This is called abhiday. She has to be trained. How to deal, and the husband also has to learn, this is my wife. What do I do with a wife? This is the science of relationship. The great science of relationship. And then finally, when due to this abhiday, meaning acting properly in the sambandh, there will be a great fruit, prayojan. So, relationship should end in a good prayojan, fulfillment of the ultimate goal of one's life. So Mayavadi philosophers miss even the first stage in self-realization because they have no conception of God's being personal, so they don't know about that. What is it that they miss?
Devotional service.
No,
The relationship.
relationship.
Yeah,
They
relationship.
miss a relationship.
Yeah, that God is a person. You have a relationship with.
Yes. Before you speak of devotional service, which is abhiday and prayojan, we have to speak of sambandh. They don't even believe, that there is a person with whom I can have a relationship. He's the master of all, and he's the only person who can accept the service of all living entities. So this knowledge is lacking in Mayavad philosophy. So Mayavadis do not have knowledge even of the relationship with God. They think that everyone is God and everyone is equal to God. Like I just said, you put Brahma, you put Shiva, you put Ganesh, and you put you also, then it's all one. Right? There's no distinction who is who. Everybody is same. Although, so therefore, since the real position of the living entity is not clear to them, how can they advance further? See, many of us have been worshippers of devas. Many of us were in impersonal philosophy. But when we heard about Krishna, we could take the next step. Right? We take the next step. So how can they advance further? Although they are very much puffed up, are being liberated, Mayavadi philosophers very shortly fall down again into material activities due to the neglecting the lotus feet of the Lord. So this is one extremely important point. Those of us who take to the path of bhakti, right? We take to the path of bhakti, it is not guaranteed that everybody will continue on the path. Is it true or false? Right? Many will try, right? Manushanam sahasreshu, kaschid yatati siddhaye, right? And among those who are trying, hardly anybody achieve the goal. Because maybe few years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, all right. So they will go, right? But if you are a bhakta, even though you may not reach the ultimate goal of prayojan, you are in the system of abhiday. Devotees usually, even if they stop somewhere on the track, you know, they do not they don't give up the lotus feet of the Lord completely. So usually what happens is it's like a tug of war between sense gratification and serving Krishna. It's a tug of war. If they have actually understood their relationship with Krishna. So, on the path of bhakti, there may be many obstacles. Some may be gross in the sense of, you know, we use Krishna consciousness as a means of livelihood, meaning that if I follow the path of Krishna consciousness, I will have, you know, my economic problem solved, right? Or I will have a status in society. People will appreciate me. I'm a great devotee. I'm a sadhu, right? Or if we manage to go through all this, then will come the demon of doubts, right? Like Arjuna became doubtful about whether he should fight or not. He got completely dragged into a family sentiment, right? Krishna Sakha, right? Krishna Sakha, when finally he was on the verge, he's been called to do his duty for Krishna, he became overwhelmed and overpowered by doubt about whether what he's doing is correct or not. Right? Or we get overpowered by results of offenses committed to devotees. Right? So then what happens? What we used to like, we start to distaste. So these are stages and obstacles on the path of bhakti. But if in spite of all these obstacles, the devotee who's on who knows Samban and who is Aviday, he will not fall down. He may go through all these different phases, but he doesn't fall down. Fall down meaning that he doesn't again completely go into material life. Even if he goes into material life, he comes back. But here it says that Mayavadi philosophers very shortly. Yeah, but it's so boring, you know. How many years can you be a Mayavadi? So boring. You have nothing to do except to read the books. And no actions, no activities, nothing to do. So they very shortly fall down from again to material activities. So what will they do? They become philanthropists. They start doing okay because they believe in mode of goodness. So they will want to do some type of philanthropic work, giving charity, do different things. But they don't know about Krishna. So therefore, they are not able to worship Krishna. So if by good luck, this Mayavadi gets a book from Prabhupada, all right, he can change his path. All right, so thank you very much, Hare Krishna. So that was another dose of not positive, like, okay, indirect meaning has been rejected. So now, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asked, so what is the direct meaning? So direct meaning means Sambandh, meaning you should know that this Jeev is not impersonal, that there is Brahman is impersonal, but beyond the Brahman, the topmost third level is realizing there is a person behind it and that person acts. He's not inert, he's not just conscious, but he acts. So this is the greater level. Then comes the next one, that now that I know there is activities, so therefore let me maintain my activities in Krishna consciousness. So Mayavadis, because they didn't even know about activities, so very fast they get diverted. They get diverted to do good work in the world. All right. Okay, so thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So,
Mancha kalpa trubhyasya kripa sindhu bhaivacha patitanam pavane